you. So we're going to reopen the meeting. I will allow Councillor Carter to talk to the report, but it's to the report, and the report is a statement that has been delivered by the Lord Warden. His words regards the choice of why sandwich was not included. So, Councillor Carter.
Okay, so Matthew the King visit deal warmer. That's correct. The itinerary for the visit. That's correct. Yeah, much prior preparation went into organising the event, but it was originally being organised for Sandwich and Deal. And so, that's correct. The announcement of the visit price, that's correct. My postings to Facebook were private postings to individuals in this chamber, and those individuals have passed those forward, so they're going to be implicated as well. I did allege, because it is the truth, the King had planned to visit Sandwich, and because there was a change in the office of the Mayor, which it says here, I met with Councillor, this is part of the report, I met with Councillor Chuka, which was witnessed by the Town Clerk, and an option was put forward to obtain a visit for the King to Sandwich. That option was put to Councillor Chuka and he turned it down. I'm not sure what the allegations, seriously the allegations, there weren't allegations, they were factual statements. And this hasn't affected the reputation of Sandwich Town Council. As I said, this is a personal matter. It might have affected the reputation of Councillor Chuka, but it hasn't affected the reputation of Sandwich Town Council at all, because Sandwich Town Council were not involved with the organisation of this visit. It was purely the Lord Warden and Buckingham Palace. The actual clarity of this, of the item that was presented was actually drafted by the Registrar of the Cinque Ports, not the Lord Warden. And I checked that with the Registrar of the Cinque Ports and he confirmed that. So, and the actual statement about the transfer or transit times wouldn't have been any different from the transit times from Walmer Castle to the areas that he visited in Deal, or the transit times to the areas he would have visited from the Guildhall. So that doesn't make sense. But basically at the end of the day, this council was given an option to have the King to visit. That option was turned down by Councillor Chuka before he became Mayor. Now, all I'm asking is why was not the effort for something such as a royal visit pursued with the vigour that Councillor Chuka seems to be pursuing me? Because I wasn't even going to mention anything about this until Councillor Chuka put it on the agenda. But now it's on the agenda.
Now, I think we've gone far enough, Councillor Carter, so you've made your points and now you're turning towards me. So just a couple of responses before we move on. Firstly, the Facebook posts that have been posted are all in the public domain.
Well, now, because you published them in the public domain. Yeah, you published them.
You have made your statement. All comments, which total somewhere in about 12, are all available to see today. I can see them, others can see them. That's number, and I don't mean others in this room, I mean others across Sandwich, and some have seen it and have made comments. That's that. Secondly, I was not involved in any discussions. I didn't know who was visiting. I didn't know it was a royal visit. I knew it was a VIP visit, but that was the extent of my knowledge. I was given an option in April of standing down as Mayor. My reaction to that was on a democratic basis. I was told that I had to stand down. I said I would not stand down because I was entitled to stand for Mayor. It's nothing to do with a visit That turns out to be
It wasn't.
the
It
King.
wasn't.
So
You're making up now. You're not talking to the
I
report.
will just leave it there. I've made my 2 points. I'd like to, Councillor Miles.
And even from the factual.
I think everything Councillor Carter has said is contradicted by the response from the Lord Warden, or the registrar. Once you post things on Facebook, the whole world can see them. It might be your personal Facebook account, but you're talking about the council, you're talking as a councillor, you're attacking people in the council. And really, I'm really disappointed with your behaviour over these past few months. It's brought the council into disrepute.
How are you to address me like that? Right. I've done 18 very long years. I did my apprenticeship to get into that seat.
Right.
I did 18 years. I helped this council through COVID and everything else. I should be due some respect instead of bullying, the bullying and the disrespect that I'm getting from the current mayor. I wouldn't be here tonight if he hadn't put this on the agenda.
Can I propose understanding orders that we note this report, we note the content, and that we move on to next business?
Here, I'll second that. That shouldn't have even been on the agenda.
Thank you.
Next time you put something on the agenda, Councillor Chuka.
Please refrain, Councillor.
Talk to me beforehand. Talk to me beforehand. Don't make any more big mistakes.
Can I first of all apologise to anybody who's watching this? Can I also apologise to other members in this room? I do have limited control. I should have total control as chair, but it's obvious I don't. So I apologise for how that played out. Councillor,
can I just make a point on camera for everybody else, okay? We are elected members of this parish. We represent the parish. This infighting and stuff on the camera is not boding well for the council. Also, the fact is, to point, sorry Mr Mayor, I have to say this, I have been approached by the national press today regarding this matter, and I've declined to comment. And I'm sure hopefully everybody else in this room, if you do get done by the press, that you decline to comment as well. As I said, you are elected members of this council. The infighting has got to stop. Let's move on now. It's done, it's dusted. We can all get along, get within some means, and work together to make this town a better place for us to live and work in. Thank you very much.
I agree. Don't put these on the agenda.
Right, okay. Move on to agenda item 10, the Highway Improvement Plan for Sandwich. The town clerk's going to talk to this. Attachment 11.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Yes, so I'm sure you all recall, it seems like a long time ago now, but we worked on a draft highway improvement plan following the consultation that I'm undertaking with residents. And myself, Councillor Green and the Mayor have worked on a draft highway improvement plan that's before you this evening. Since this was published, there has been a resident from Sandown Road as well who wanted his comments added to the debate this evening. Would members consider Sandown Road, the 20-mile-an-hour zone being extended to include Sandown Road? So I just wanted to capture that comment as well. So you'll see that Council did agree the following priorities. Number 1 was to address all complaints related to safety at all 4 schools, which is Sandwich Junior, Sandwich Technology, Sir Roger Manners, the Sandwich Infant School. Seek the relocation of the Guildhall bus stop stand B, and also to seek additional speed signs on High Street, New Street and Williamsborough Road. And as I say, that latest comment relates to Sandown Road. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Comments, Councillor Black.
Yeah, we are a bit overtaken by events about Sandwich Technology College. As we know, that there's a proposal to build 45 houses there, have the exit and a care home, and the exit straight onto Deal Road. Unfortunately, we're unable to discuss the implications of this as far as traffic was concerned at the planning meeting. A number of people have written to the district about this. This completely blows this suggestion out of the water because the atmosphere, the location and the topography and the traffic management are completely different now from when this was written. I'm afraid this is no longer valid.
So So could you explain that a bit further, Councillor Black, because this was raised as an issue about the amount of traffic and the speed of traffic in the areas of each of the schools, including the...
Yeah, I'm referring to Sandwich Technology
Yes, so
College.
is it not likely to worsen?
It is going to, it will worsen.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I think, I would argue it still stands, because we need to
I would,
include it.
if we believe it stands, then I think it needs to be beefed up considerably, because the entrance that is proposed is very close to the school exit.
Yeah.
It takes no account of the bus stop, and it takes no account of the parking and all the bollards that have already been erected, presumably by the council, by Kent County, or maybe by the school, I don't know. And you're going to get a lot more traffic trying to do a right turn, just as people are trying to come out of the school.
So I think what we need to do is add that in as a potential future problem, because actually, obviously, it's planning application at the moment, there is no developer there appointed, the work hasn't started, so there's a lot of time still to burn, whereas this is the hit for this year. So I think we need to add this in as another consideration alongside the tech school. Yeah. Councillor Murray.
Yes, Mayor, thank you. It's a good report. It's been worked closely with obviously Sandwich Town Council and the town team as well. I do believe there's one thing I'd like to add on regarding the addressing the complaints and safety of schools. So the front entrance where the buses pick up and drop off the kids at the Sandwich Tech School is currently 40 miles an hour. That needs to be lowered down to at least 30 miles an hour. If that can be considered on for the report, please, as well.
Thank you very much.
I just wanted to declare an interest. I'm a senior school governor at the technology school.
So on the basis that we're accepting the report as it stands, with 2 comments added in regards to tech school, but also broadening to include Sandown Road within the detail to make sure that's included. If we're happy to do that, is somebody happy to propose? Second, Councillor Morehouse. Thank you very much. Right.
I'm abstaining because of my declaration.
Right, agenda item 11. Hopefully less controversial. An elephant on the quay.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. There's a proposal. What we're seeking today is to get the backing of Sandwich Town Council in principle to put an elephant on the quay. This is a sculpture which is made by a cooperative in Kenya and would total cost at the moment delivered equivalent to free on deck is probably about £6,000. We are not seeking funds at all at the moment. We're just seeking the principle. Because unless we get the principle, we're not going to be able to take this any further with Dover District Council or a tourism authority. The reason for this is there's no one focal point on the quay, and there's nothing to identify Sandwich differently from anywhere else. Some places have got things like Dance Army statues there. Other places have got Paddington Bears. There's a whole range of different places have got different icons. We have nothing in Sandwich. This, we believe, would be an extremely good icon. It is made out of recycled steel. Steel is reasonably robust. It's not easy to set on fire, so it should be proof against most kinds of vandalism that we get. I said most kinds. You take a close talkers to it, maybe. This is what we believe is really important. If we can start doing this, we can start building up the use of the quay by tourists. We can also have a single focal point, whether we take it into some other publicity and so on for Sandwich and have this as a kind of tourist symbol for Sandwich and so on. We don't know. We need to take that further.
Unless we've got opposition to the proposal, I'm happy to propose.
Can I ask a question? Can I ask a sensible question, please? Yeah. Councillor Black, could I just ask about the matter of the transfer of the quay, which may happen within the next sort of couple of years? Have you taken that into consideration for this?
No, we haven't, because at the moment the quay is DDC.
It is.
It becomes ours. Then fair enough. However, we still would need planning permission. So regardless of who the owner is, the quay is planning permission.
Yeah.
And then also getting a proper base for it and the maintenance. So the ownership of the key is not particularly important at this stage. If it's Sam's Town Council, of course, should be endorsing it
Exactly.
unreservedly.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, I think time is of the essence because I think it's part like the Compass Road, it's the levelling up fund.
Yes.
Yes.
So I think we should just go for it.
Propose that we,
Yeah, I propose it.
recommendation, I think, yeah, second?
Yeah.
Second, can we go to
Councillor,
vote
sorry,
on
I
that?
think
So
Councillor
we want
Watson
to,
wants to do it.
Councillor Wiles.
No, I was just going to say, it says nearly life size, 2 metres.
Yeah.
That's not nearly life size.
Yes, it is. Let's say that's my height, so.
Elephants are
Okay.
Why don't you say that?
Well, what we're doing is here, we're agreeing
Principle.
to the principle.
Put
I've
your
got,
hand up.
I've got a proposer, I've got a seconder, if we could go to a vote.
Thank you.
I don't think we need to.
Three.
Councillor Fortescue?
Yes, I'm correct.
Okay, let's keep in the meeting, please. Agenda item 12, operations team proposal and employment strategy. Members are asked to consider a report from property manager that details an employment strategy for the operations team for the Guildhall. The Human Resources Committee recommend and support the principle proposed with a caveat that a review is undertaken after 12 months. Temple.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, so there was quite an involved debate at the Human Resources Committee, because obviously we have been in periods of, let's say, where situations where we have not got a active operations team, so we've had to seek agency and contractors as well. So I've worked with the property manager, we've come up with a proposal that we think would really work to sort of secure a bit more of a long-term strategy for the operations team. The report was taken to HR Committee on the 7th of July, and as the Mayor has said, the members there supported the strategy was subject to the following 3 points. The initial period of 12 months with a review being undertaken then. Contracts agreements prepared and signed for self-employed contractors under the wing when it's needed, which is when it's needed method. And clarification on whether for 2 years a self-employed individual could be granted employee rights under employment law. So just to clarify, that is not the case. 2 years, a self-employed individual doesn't automatically get employee rights. But it does have to be very clear that these self-employed contractors, when it's needed method, they are not dictated to when they attend, what they wear. It's literally you're giving a contractor the option, there is this work available. So we can't dictate to somebody to be here at a certain time. But it's working very well at the moment, as we've seen demonstrated with the markets, and that person does fill in other times as well for us when needed at the Guildhall. So the property manager's gone into a lot of detail there. I won't read all that because I'm sure you've read it. There is an appendix 1 as well, an employment strategy that's added to the report, and that goes into a lot of detail about the old model, the current model, and the new model proposed. So if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to.
Councillor Black?
Yeah, the difficulty you've got is making sure that the person actually does other work, because inevitably this is a fairly steady stream, people will hang on to it. So you're really going to have to chase up to make sure that they are doing other work. You of course run the risk that they could say, no, I don't fancy coming in today, you're on your own, Jack. But that's the risk of them. They may not get employee rights, but there is a separate set of rights called worker rights, which are not nearly as onerous as employee rights, but I suspect they may well get worker rights. And of course, we must be aware that should the Inland Revenue or HMRC change their rules, we could get in a bit of a nasty shock. But every person that uses this type of contract is at that risk, but it is not risk-free.
Thank you very much. Councillor Maddox?
Just with regard to employment or self-employed, liability and insurance, who covers that?
So if they're working here, for us, like the markets, we've got the insurance cover. So that's,
Councillor Rick?
Yeah, I'm happy with these. I was quite sceptical at the HR meeting, as you well know about the win scenario. The person in question, I won't name names, the person in question is a very long-standing member of the council, has been working on and off for the council for a number of years. The person's very well known in town. If I'm happy to propose, I'd like to propose that we go ahead with these with the reference of A for the win contract.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm totally against this, Reed. I think we want properly employed people with a standard address. I mean, we've got people coming to weddings, or they're coming to look around the building. I mean, I do know the chap is very nice, he's very helpful. But I think we've got to set the rules, we've got to set a standard. We can't just have anyone just floating in and out. Like Councillor Black says, you might have a wedding on and suddenly he said, oh, I'm busy, I can't make that. Then you've got to get an agency person in. I think we need regular staff on regular hours, and we set the standard, because they're representing us, aren't they? They're representing Sandwich. It's so important when people come in, even to look at, the Guild of the Corporate for a wedding, they just have a wander around. We're very lucky that they have staff available, but they are the front of the house, aren't they? So I think we need a properly employed person, and I think it's taking so long to get these staff put in. I mean, we didn't talk about town sergeant, aren't we? Part-time town sergeant. It's ridiculous how everything's dragging its heels. But I do think we should have our own staff, and it covers ourselves.
Only that it's very difficult with the operations team to actually recruit people that want to do the hours that we're looking for. Some of it's very antisocial, for instance, in the markets, setting up in the winter months. So the way this using contractors is really, really working for us. And I just don't think, in being realistic, you're going to find people, to do antisocial hours, to do, sometimes it's just a few hours that's needed. We don't necessarily need anyone that's even 20 hours. It's very difficult.
I'd just like to say, previously, the town sergeant, the caretaker, was also the property manager. Why doesn't what's the hours of the property? Is he flexible hours? Can he cover? Does he just do 9 till 5? Does he just do 5 days a week? Does he come in and lock up in the evenings? Perhaps we've got to look at the property manager's role. Perhaps he's got to be more flexible. Because I think it's from anyone, I'm totally against it. Thank you.
I just want to add that the property manager is extremely flexible. He's coming in unlocking toilets for us at the moment. He's coming in on weekends, so he's extremely flexible. Please, I think you should take that remark back, because
he works flexible hours.
I know, but he is working over and above what's expected of him, so he's very flexible.
So Councillor Marie has proposed a recommendation. If there's somebody happy to second that, is there any other?
I just had a question. I have a question to raise. A sensible one.
Okay.
Yeah. The only other downside of this, it's very sensible because we are saving money and it is a flexible alternative. The only downside to this, having spoken to the staff here over 18 years, is, and I think Councillor Franklin would say the same, is there are a lot of customs, traditions and knowledge about this building. It's a very big building, and where the staff keep changing, it's very difficult to pass that knowledge on to the new people. And I'm not just talking about which key goes in which lock, but it's about what celebrations happen, how things are set up. So for instance, the History Society, we have the jury room set up in a certain way, and Woody sets it up because he knows how to set it up. But if he wasn't here, somebody else came in, they could just set it up how they wanted. So you will lose that continuity of ability.
So in terms of the recommendations, at the moment we already employ a permanent member of staff within this resource. The recommendation here is to employ another permanent member of staff plus one WIN contractor. We've been using agency contract resource over the last 18 months, maybe longer, on and off. So this is rationalising, and was mentioned that actually is also financially economic for us as a council. So the proposal is and we can vote on it and we can decide, is that we agree to employ one new part-time member of staff who's permanent and one part-time WIN contractor for a 12-month period as proposed by Councillor Murray. Anybody have a second that? Councillor Morehouse? We will go to a vote on that.
Oh, 2 abstentions, thank you. Oh, sorry, is that 3? Yeah, 3. Thank you.
Wishing to introduce? And Councillor Black abstained.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see that. No,
I'm
that's 4.
Councillor Wilde.
Oh, so you abstained, yes.
No,
So it's 4. I'm voting for.
Yes,
So
I've
3
got 4
4.
abstentions.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Agenda item 13, which is attachment 14 in the pack, Kent Pensions Fund consultation for proposal for pooling contributions. So if the town clerk could give a brief overview of this, I think there's a lot of detail which hopefully we've all read. This has been driven by the fund scheme itself. So ultimately the decisions will be taken by them rather than individual parish councils. But it's about us proposing how we want to be involved. But ultimately, our proposal may be overridden by the fund scheme itself in any case. Town clerk.
Thank you. Yes, so the Kent Pension Fund are consulting with all the members of the pension scheme, of which there are 61 town or parish councils that are participating in the fund. And I think some of this is being driven as well with the local government reorganisation. So they want to proposing to pool the funding so that each council, instead of paying its own individual contribution rate, pays a pooled rate across the councils. Now, there are lots of other opinions across the local parish councils. I've spoken to 3 or 4. Some people are in a position like Sandwich where the rate isn't actually very high. Others are in a position where the rate is high. And so for some councils it is actually going to be a benefit to pool it because they are going to probably gain from it. I think for in Sandwiches, your position here is not particularly going to be beneficial. I think it will mean a little higher, not, I don't think anything too drastic, but what they can't do at the moment is tell us what that pooled contribution rate would look like because they haven't prepared the valuation results. So it was just to give you all the facts. I won't read all that information to you. They did actually provide a report as well, which I hope you had an opportunity to read, which was the that consultation report. Hopefully you had an opportunity to read that as well. So yeah, there is a lot of information there, and basically they're just consulting with all the councils to see, you know, if councils have an opinion, and basically it was to look at the options of the pooling for the future for local government pension scheme.
So the town clerk's advice is that we should
It's the future
yes,
Yes,
propose that we pool future service only as our preferred option.
yes, and that's purely because your contribution rate is not very high, you know, and that way it will protect you a bit from, you know, the potential of increase on the rates.
Retro.
Yeah.
Councillor Black, please.
Yeah, 2 questions about this. Can I just confirm that all members of the LGPS get the same benefits regardless of the employer contribution rate?
So it depends on the salary.
Well, obviously, it is salary different because it'll be what, 60th or 80th accrual rate. But do they get the same accrual rate?
Yes. Yes.
Regardless of whether their employer is paying a higher rate or a lower rate?
Yes, and it depends on, because people that have been in the service pre-2014.
Yeah.
So there's
Historic
sorts of
rates.
scenarios.
Yeah.
But yes, the basic benefits are the same for everybody,
Right.
and that includes death in service payment as well.
Right, because that's the first critical thing. If that's the case, then fine. I'd had a quick look at it. Although they are unable to give us the contribution rate, the general contribution rate, the difference between the rate they used last time and our current rate is 1.8%. And I think you sent me a figure that quoted our pension cost of the order of 30,000.
So I quoted you, didn't I, the monthly
Monthly
cost. Yes,
Three,
for
so
all the 7 employees that are in the
yeah, so that's about 36k a year. I really think we are doing a little bit of penny pinching by not going into this pooling.
Yeah, that's
So,
Yeah, my age right now. When we had the Tollbridge fund, when we had the Tollbridge collectors, for some reason, I think they were paid into the pension fund. And I remember we had to top it up because suddenly they didn't have it, they'd retired. I mean, we started to keep paying that. Well, they did about 20 or 30 years longer after they retired. And we've always kept ours separate. But if we keep, always nice to have the options open, isn't it, to investigate what it's worth.
Yeah.
I think we find all the school staff, they're all pension funds.
So we don't have an option to.
Yeah, you can go for the full pooling option, which is I think what Councillor Black is suggesting. You certainly can, yes.
You can do that.
Yeah.
If you choose.
That could, and that, I'm not saying that that's what will happen, because obviously they're asking all 61.
And of course you
Yeah.
could get stung by that because it depends on whether they jack it up considerably,
Yeah.
20%.
So as it stands, my recommendation is that it's pooling for the future service only. I'm happy to propose that, so somebody's have to second it, and then we'll see
Happy to
what
second that.
Second from Councillor Carter. Could vote on that.
Some reluctance.
Okay, so well,
Thank you.
unanimous. We're ending on a high. In terms of getting even higher, celebrating the 800th anniversary of the first mayor of Sandwich, or recorded mayor of Sandwich. That's a key word to slot in.
Yes.
Councillor Maria, you have to talk to
Yeah,
this?
I will do, yeah. So after a 6-hour history lesson from Councillor Franklin to and from Brighton Sea, we went for the Blessing of the Seas with Councillor Ripley and Mr Mayor. We decided that we were looking to doing something for the anniversary. So it will be, bear with me, well, I need blue glasses. The 800th anniversary of the first recorded mayor of Sandwich, which is Haynes D. Kingsington, is that it?
Elias de Kingston.
There you go. See, I should have listened to Terry Palmer on Friday at the Deadly Supper, so because he was much more better than I am. So we're looking for support from the council to organise some range of events for next year, from a large parade around the town, incorporating the Sandwich Medieval Centre. I know Mr Mayor has spoken to Sandwich Tech School regarding making a giant tapestry regarding all the recorded mayors of the town, which will be done put in the museum. And also the museum are looking at doing a temporary exhibition for some of the recorded mayors of Sandwich. We also, so this is, if approved, it says that work will be undertaken to develop more detailed proposal, and that the first will be taken to the Townscape Heritage Committee to consider before it's pressed to full council. The anticipated time frame for doing this will be ready on the fresh draft of a detailed proposal for September meeting of the Townscape Heritage meeting. God, I've got a lot of work to do. The mayor, obviously, the mayor, past and present mayors that are sitting in the chamber will be allowed to take part, and also help us to organise something for the event. We're looking at because it's a busy time in May. The first recorded mayor was done in November. It was done in November. Bear with me. It says it here. So the town was run by the mayor and 12 jurats. It's elected yearly the Monday after the Feast of St Andrew, which is the 30th of November. We're not looking at that because it's too cold. So we're going to be looking at saying so sometime in June. So we've got a bit more leeway, and also incorporating. Obviously, it's a busy time for us for May because we have budgets and we have mayor makings, etc. So I'm looking at June time. So we can incorporate other events, other community events that help out with the events in the town. That's it. Thank you very much.
We're talking to the medieval people that organised the 1547 commemoration.
Yes, I remember that because I was a giant. I was John Drury that day, so I remember that day very well.
And whilst 800 years ago is before the medieval centre's focus, this is about a sequence.
It could be like the ages of
Yeah.
the mayoralties over the ages. Yeah.
I'm just going to say, I think it needs a committee set up, a festival committee, a pageant committee, so we incorporate all the clubs, all the schools, the whole community of Sandwich can contribute, so we can have a fantastic procession like they did in 1925. That's where we get art on the telly and get it properly filmed. So I'm already
saying that
with the lady with the horse.
Okay, so
Yeah, I'm happy to agree with what Councillor Frank said. I'm happy to propose, I'm going to say it now, a lot of people are going to start huffing, it's a working group. So we have a working group that speaks directly to the Townscape Heritage Committee, bring their work, they get working together as soon as they can. We bring a report to the Townscape Heritage Committee, but then that's discussed through to the full council, if people agree.
Is that acceptable, Councillor?
Oh, totally, yes. It's, just to add, there might be an expectation that the council will fund a lot of this, rather than the organisations coming to the council to beg for money. I'm using the word beg sort of in a very loose sense.
Be like you do.
Thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to determine exactly what Councillor Mallet was saying. Were we going to allocate any funds, because we usually set the budgets in October, November?
Yeah,
Or
so what we need to do is scope out what it is we plan to do.
Yeah.
Within that will drive out a cost, and then that can go into the budget setting process for next year. So it actually falls reasonably well in terms of timings, I think.
Yeah.
Get the principal agreement in terms of what we're going to do, and then take the costings towards the budget.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
That's fine.
Yeah. Okay. So you've proposed it.
I'm happy to second it.
We could vote. I'm voting green.
Thank you.
I was already leaving.
Okay, yeah, that's it.
Thank you. Okay, so date of next full council meeting, 29th of September. Thank you and good night.
Get a month off.
Well, sorry.